Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with Redo Over, and we are back to our Slay the Spire. I think we're on part 3 right now. Now, unfortunately, I got the cold last week, so I didn't record anything. I'm still working with an extremely dry cough, so I'm going to try and push through here just so I can have some fun making some videos and stuff, but bear with me. We had gone over the 3 relics after our boss fight. We'd gotten all the way to the top of the first map piece, the exordium essentially at the beginning of the game, and we wanted to take the busted crown. That's going to gain us 1 energy, mana energy, at the start of your turn. Future card rewards will have 2 less cards to choose from. So normally we're picking from 3 cards, we're going to get 2 less. I'm not going to flip anybody off this time. So we're only going to get 1 card to choose from, but we're starting to get a pretty decent little tight deck. So yeah, we're taking the crown. This is really going to up the power of our ironclad warrior. Here's Act 2, the city. All right. So it's essentially very similar to the map we saw last time. This is randomly generated again per the seed number up here. And it looks like we're going to be facing a heavy knight, the champion, I believe. Very durable. You need to do a lot of damage. You need to be able to take some damage to defeat the champion. And that's one of the benefits as you play the game, is you come to recognize who these boss fights are at the end. And if you need to make little decisions to direct how your deck is going or what your powers are, yeah, it can help to look ahead. So all the starting rooms again, we have 3 options. You see the little 3 bouncing heads. We have a kind of a left path, a middle path, and a right path. Now, based off of our awesome relics up here, I'm just trying to see if any of them would really lean into... No, none of them lean into going to question mark rooms or going to shops, like a shop, more than another. There are also relics that would really would make elite fights, these guys with the horns, easier. We don't have any of those relics right now. So as I'm trying to choose the path through, I'm probably going to just choose the one with the best mixture of regular fights, elite fights, unknown rooms, question mark rooms, I call them question mark rooms, and merchant rooms, shops. So I see 1 shop right here. So when you hit the treasure chest, that's halfway through the map, roughly. I only see a single shop the entire way there. So let's take that middle path so we can be sure to hit that shop and spend some of our hard-earned coin. So we'll start right here. Ooh, we're getting a fight with some thievers. Okay, I don't really like that. They both have 10 damage coming to us, and they have the little thievery hat with the feather. Looters will steal 15 gold whenever they attack. We don't like that. So we can get Rage off right away. Whenever you play an attack this turn, you'll gain 3 block. That's awesome. That'll help us mitigate some of this 20 points coming in, because I don't think there's a way out right off the bat we can kill one of these guys outright. So we're going to take that damage. Fortunately, we have more than enough energy to play all of our cards. And here's Clash. These are all attacks. So we'll drop the Clash in for 14. We'll drop the Anger in for 6. And we got a copy of Anger into our discard pile. There's a Strike, and there's a Strike. That's cool. It's interesting because although we had no defensive cards, at least with the Rage, we were able to get our shield, our block up to 12. So that will really help. But yeah, we got that guy most of the way down. We'll end the turn. Rage wears off. Here comes some incoming damage. Oh, those little scurvy little sons of beeps. All right. What do we got here? Good options. We have a skill card. We have Headbutt. Deal 9. Put a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. Sure, if there was something real good in there, potentially. Thunderclap. Deal 4 damage and vulnerable to all enemies. We probably would want to get Thunderclap out first. That way it makes all of our other incoming attacks that much deadlier. And I am looking at Whirlwind right here. Whirlwind Plus. It's improved. Green title at the top. 8 times 4 would be 32 points of damage. We can't quite kill everyone off with that. So it's almost perfect. But let's start with Thunderclap. Do a little bit of damage, and now they're both vulnerable. That's good. Yeah, let's get Defend played. Because even though we're probably going to kill the left looter, we're not going to be able to kill the right-hand looter. So that'll give us a little bit of mitigation. Now, we want to deal damage to take this sucker out. We could do 16 and 16, or I would rather... Well, I'd rather do more than that. Is there anything we want to use that headbutt for? Not particularly. I don't think we need headbutt out. I think this is far too easy of a fight. Let's simply do this. Let's play the Whirlwind. That will kill the left looter, no problem. Did a boatload of damage to the right looter, and... Oh, we will kill him. Because of the vulnerable. Damage jumps up to 21 on the Clash card. Yay! I didn't even... Again, I am sick, so I'm just like struggling right now to not be like, oh, this the dry cough. I can pause if I need to. I can like pause the recording. I may do that at some point. Smoke Bomb. Escape from a non-boss combat. Receive no rewards. Questionable, but we'll take it. You always take the potions, even if you don't think you're going to use them. You can throw them away later. And here we are. We only get to choose one card. Deal 12 damage. Apply 2 weak. It's not a bad card. It works pretty well with what we're doing. 2 into the 12 is 6 damage per energy, plus 1 weak per energy. So it's a high efficiency card, but let's just take a look at our deck real quick. We've got our strikes across the top, 3 defenses left, bashing, clashing, rage, whirlwind, sever soul, which is exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand to deal 16 damage. Have we used that yet? I'm wondering. If it was against all enemies, it would be pretty sweet, but it's not. That may be a card that's worth getting out of there at some point. We have our Metallicize, we have our Inflame, Anger, Thunderclap, Clash, Headbutt, Juggernaut. Whenever you gain block, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. These are all good. So I do see we have some vulnerable, the ability to put vulnerable on enemies in there. And we have a little more vulnerable here. We don't have any weakness though. So I think it's worth taking. Improved, it'll be an even better card if we have a chance to improve it. But for now, since we have no way to do weakness, yeah, we might as well have a little bit of that in the tank. We're going to go to the unknown room here. Lucky us. Now, I did find out recently that the size of the chest matters. There's a smaller chest, a medium chest, which is more of like the little house-shaped chest. It's pokey at the top, and then this is the large one. And it simply means you have better and better chance of getting rare relics. So this is cool. The Horned Cleat. You guys can't quite read my face box there. At the start of your second turn, gain 14 block is what that's saying. All right. It's a perfect item, and we'll proceed. And we'll go to the next fight. So what that means is it's going to be 14 free block. That's a chunk of block. That really is, for us, very nice. All right, so we have 4 energy. We are facing the Chosen. Now, the Chosen's interesting. Again, this human in these robes here with these feathers sticking out. Are they real feathers? Are they fake feathers that are part of the robe? It's hard to say. But quite a few hit points coming in there. Bear in mind, our Mercury Hourglass is dealing 3 damage at the start of a return, so these enemies are always coming out slightly damaged. That Mercury Hourglass is very sweet. So yeah, rage it up. Heck yeah. So this would be a way to get rid of the defense card if we wanted to get that 16 damage out, which we don't want to do necessarily. Well, we'll see. It's a little bit tricky. We have 5 times 2 damage coming in, but we have rage out. So let's get anger out there first. Perfect. We dealt some damage. We got an extra anger. We got 3 block. Let's get our strike out. Boom. 6 more damage. There we are. So, whew. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We can play both. So check it out. We'll play defense, putting us to 11, making us immune, and then we'll play 1 more attack because we have no attacks to exhaust, but it doesn't matter. So we'll completely mitigate all damage, and we played every card. You can see how having the 4 energy every turn really is pretty potent. Now, our cleat, the Horn Cleat, just kicked off. At the start of the second turn, it energized, and it's hard to tell, but essentially it's grayed out now. It's done. But you can see we have the 14 block. Now, in this case, it's not going to help us out, but in a lot of matches, it will help us a lot. That's a huge amount of mitigation. So we've got all sorts of cool stuff. Might as well get Juggernaut out now because we have a little bit of downtime, right? The Chosen's not going to attack us, so we're not required, and we have tons of defense. So let's play Juggernaut. And you can see here now, whenever you gain block, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. But because there's only one enemy, that's all going to go to the Chosen. Now, what that does is it turns defend, the skill, into an attack. Boom. Yeah. I mean, that's powerful, powerful. And unfortunately, we've only got 1 energy left, but Whirlwind will be the most efficient use. It will get 8 damage for that 1 energy rather than using a strike. There you go. Chosen's about halfway down, especially after the Mercury Hourglass kicks off this next turn. We're going to get debuffed. We got Hexed. Hex reads, whenever you play a non-attack card, shuffle 1 Dazed into your draw pile, meaning this pile over here. So we'll see that. But we are loaded with attacks. Oh my gosh, look at this. And we can play them all. Because the Clash is a 0 cost. And we will just move. Oh shit. I should have played Thunderclap first for the vulnerable. Again, I'm a little loosey-goosey right now. Oh yeah, see, we could have killed them outright had I done that properly. Okay, let's do... I'm going to demonstrate something. It's a cheat. We go here to settings. We save and quit. Are you sure your progress will be automatically saved? We say yes. Backs us out. Now, this is how I left off last time. I was able to walk away for 2 weeks from the game and come back to our save game. When you reboot Slay the Spire next time, you'll hit the continue option. It says continue behind my face box. You can't see it. It is going to take you into the room you left off on at the start. Here we are with the Chosen. Brand new fight from scratch. We were going to rage out, if you recall. We played Anger, Strike, Defense, Sever Soul, and ended our turn. Oh, and look at the number 1 up here on the Horn Cleat, by the way. Right there. Now, as turn 2 clicks along, the number 1 disappears to indicate that the Horn Cleat, not only did it go from a blue to a gray to indicate it is used, but the 1 disappeared. So that's something I forgot to point out last time. Okay, now we are ready to go again. We're going to play Juggernaut first, then we'll play Defend, and then we decided to play Whirlwind because it gives us a little more damage, and we'll end our turn. Chosen's going to Hex us. This is also... So yes, I did a functional cheat, but you know, if you've been playing through a match... you're trying to level up your characters, essentially. And you're 40 minutes into a run-through, and you make some boneheaded mistake. You use a potion in a way that wasn't what you thought it was going to do. And you're like, oh, crud, that was totally wasted. Sometimes it's worth reloading and saving your 40 minutes of gameplay to get going again. But it also serves as a very good way to demonstrate that the game isn't random within the seed. Everything that's happened, everything the Chosen's doing, and the cards that are being drawn are identical for this seed, for this room, for this playthrough. So we're re-flashing through this fight, but if you watch the 2 versions of the fight we've done, there's no difference. The only thing that could be different is your decisions as the human player, because you're not stuck to the internal it's not randomness. Yeah, the internal random seed. But I digress. This time, we know we want to do Thunderclap first. Now the Chosen is vulnerable. Now we could do Clash and Strike and Headbutt. And we'll choose Defense. It doesn't matter. And 1 more Strike. We're easily able to kill the Chosen. And we didn't take that last 10 points of damage, which is a big hit. It's more than our 6 Burning Blood can mitigate. So it was a good choice. We're going to get 14 gold and 1 new card. It's unimproved Whirlwind. We don't need more Whirlwind, let alone an unimproved. So we're going to skip on that card. Bye-bye. All right. And we're making our way up. We've got a couple more fights, but our Ironclad is just crushing through these battles right now. So it's pretty excited. Now here is a strong enemy. The Snake Plant. You can see this bizarre bulb at the top and these snake-like appendages, these roots and flowers. This is pretty cool. Now the Snake Plant... the Snake Plant has one special ability called Malleable. It's the little green leaves with the 3. Upon receiving attack damage, gains 3 block. Block gain increases as Malleable is triggered, resets to 3 at the start of your turn. So essentially it's growing more and more. Every time you hit it, it grows leaves to protect itself. And the number of leaves it's growing is 1 more each time for the entire round of combat. Now, because we're playing the Ironclad and we sometimes will do 3, 4, or 5 attack cards in a single turn, we may blast through the leaves and it'll go from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. You're really... Sometimes it's better to like maybe take the foot off the gas because you're just burning your attacks and nothing's getting through the Malleable's leaves. It also means that while the Malleable's leaves are at the lowest setting, 3, and they're going to climb, you would want to use your weakest attacks first because they can burn through the leaves and do the damage. So whereas Clash would be very powerful in something like Anger, is it Anger? Yeah. Is like a 6-point damage or something, you would save it. You do the tiniest attack first, build into the higher attacks to make sure you can keep punching through. So again, we will Rage. I mean, Rage is a great card for us right now. What else do we want to do? No attacks incoming. So I'm not so worried about Defend, although we were not going to get Clash out with Defend in there. So let's burn the Defense to unlock Clash. And you can see it has the blue pulsing border here now, indicating that it's ready to use. So we will drop in the Clash. Sweet. Now, you can see it got 3 armor and the leaves went to 4. Now we have 2 attacks left, but we would be better off just spending all 3 of our energy on the 8 times. So let's watch what happens. I don't know if it will regain the leaves each time because it's just 1 attack, but we should see 8, 8, 8. Let's watch what happens. It did. In actuality, it did click up. Every time we did 8, burn through the leaves, we did a little bit of damage, and then it grew more leaves. And look where it ended up at leaf 7, total armor 15. That's crazy. Wow. We'll end our turn because we don't have a choice. It hit us with Enfeebling Spores, which gives us 2 Frail, which messes up our block, and 2 Weakness, which messes up our attack. So the Enfeebling Spores really hit us. However, our Cleat kicked off, so we're able to already resist 14 of the incoming 21 damage. That's pretty good for us. That Cleat, super handy. So I see 2 powers available right now, Metallicize and Juggernaut. And then we have 3 attacks, including the Bash. Bash is quite expensive, but we could get vulnerable for 2 rounds. Jeez, I almost think we're better off going with the Bash to get vulnerable out there. And then let's get the Metallicize because we do want to get a little more armor. Remember, we'll gain that 3 from Metallicize at the end of our turn, mitigating most of that incoming damage. And even now, though, we can still hit with the 4 and a 4. Barely going to get through that armor right there, right? We just did like a point of damage, and now this strike won't do anything. It did because it's vulnerable. So instead of 4, it did 6. So we were able to do this, but you can see its health went from like 28 to 26. So we're just chipping away at it. It's pretty frustrating, but we'll end our turn. Our block jumps to 17, so we'll take 4 points of damage here. Oh, no, 1 because of the Tori. Ooh, I forgot about the Tori. Tori's so good. Okay. All right, let's see if we can finish this dang thing off. Let's get Inflame out there right now, or can we kill this thing? Hold on. It's vulnerable right now. So here's the thing. Inflame will not immediately give us 3 strength. Not until our next turn will that kick off, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we're better off trying to hit while it's still vulnerable for this turn. So let's start with the strike. Let's jump to the clothesline. And I think this will get it. There's the clash. Oh, fudge. Oh, fudge. I messed that up. No problem. It's not attacking us, so it's not that big of a deal. But let's play Inflame just to see if we get the strength right now. We do. Oh, crud. Oh, well. That's another mistake on my part. Yeah, this isn't looking brilliant right now. I'm not going to lie. Not looking brilliant. So these little mistakes that I'm making, when you're playing through casually, sometimes you don't focus in, but you notice how you'll expose your character to extra damage. And it makes a big difference. If you're taking an extra 5 points of damage on average per battle, because you're just not really locking in on what's going to happen and in what order, it's the difference between being able to understanding the game in general and just having fun with it and trying to reach for an expertise level. Because every time you can stop that extra 2 damage or that extra 8 damage, that extra hit of 15 damage that you might take otherwise, it's going to make your run go 10%, 20% further than before. And that's really where mastery of the game comes in. But otherwise, at this point, I think we got it. Just knock that guy out. So, good to know that Inflame is going to give the strength immediately. So 20 gold, Speed Potion, which is an extra 5 dex, but you lose it right away, but we'll take it. And here's Cleave. This is deal 8 damage to all enemies. For 1. Now our Whirlwind already duplicates more or less exactly that. It's functionally almost similar. Now the problem is, if you were at a place where you had 3 energy left, Whirlwind's going to consume all of it. You never, with an X card, you never get to downgrade the amount of energy. It's going to consume whatever you have left. So in that sense, I could see Cleave being a little better. And is that our only attack we have that hits everyone? I'm just looking to see. No, we have at least one other. Thunderclap hits everyone for a little bit. And that's about it. Yeah, let's grab Cleave. Only because I want to have another solid card in our deck. That gives us roughly 1/10 of our cards can hit all enemies at once, approximately. Let's go to the next fight. We are facing a Baird and a Chosen. So you can see now some of the combat groups are mixes of different enemies. We already fought a Chosen. We're fighting another one now. So the bird has the special power of flight. While the bird is flying, it receives 50% less attack damage. It's essentially a 50% debuff on every attack we have coming in, or it's an armor. Cancelled if dealt attack damage 3 times in 1 turn. Okay, good to know. So we have Clothesline out there to apply weak, which wouldn't be a bad thing to do the Chosen because we can't stop all that attack coming in. We have the Headbutt. Otherwise, Anger and Strike are pretty straightforward. Excuse me. Should we use the Speed Potion? Yeah, let's drink the Speed Potion. Let's get Defense out. And then next turn, remember, the Horned Cleat should help mitigate most of the damage coming next turn. So, do we want to take the bird down first? I think so. We're going to start with our smallest attacks first, because we want to hit that bird 3 times. You notice the wing went from a green 3 to a green 2. Let's use our next weakest attack. And we're barely damaging the dang thing, but it's down to 1 here. And then let's use our next weakest attack. And we'll pull back in Anger. Yeah, what the heck? The creature's now on the ground. And at this point, we are out of energy. It's fine. End turn. Now, anytime you're able to reduce a bird to the ground, it will interrupt whatever attack it was going to do. So that's a good way to mitigate out some damage right away. Now, the bird's quite vulnerable. It has an attack coming in. But yeah, let's throw up our strength right off the bat. We could probably kill this thing outright with anger right now. Or I can very clearly see that we'll get more damage per energy with the whirlwind and we'll hit everyone. So simple. There you go. 33 points of damage to everyone. And there's that anger ready to rock for 9 more. And we even got another copy of anger. We're now up to 1, 2, 3 copies. That's not bad. And we'll end our turn. So the Chosen hexed us again. If you recall, last time we were hexed by the Chosen. Chosen has 10 damage coming in. I want to point something out, though. This is a synergy between Headbutt and Anger. Anger spreads itself throughout your pile, but oftentimes the fight's over in, 3, 4 turns of combat. You're not going to get all the way through your deck. But with cards like Headbutt that allow you to pluck cards from that big discard pile and put them back into your big draw pile, you can magnify a card like Anger. You could probably make an entire deck around a card like Anger and a card like Headbutt with 1 or 2 other cards where you're pulling back and just expanding the number of essentially free damage you get with a card like Anger. So food for thought. Yeah, let's get Rage out there because we do want to try and mitigate some of this damage coming in. And we have just a couple of attacks available right now. Juggernaut, Strike, Sever Soul. Do we need Juggernaut? Probably. We're probably going to want it. We don't have enough to take out the Chosen, and we want to mitigate as much of this damage as we can. So we know we want to play defense. So let's play the Juggernaut first. Then when we play defense, we get the 5 defense, and we deal some damage. And at this point, we can just do the Strike. And that, with the Rage activation, gets us to 8. So nearly total mitigation. Nothing our Burning Blood can't help cancel out for this fight. And there goes the Mercury Hourglass. The Chosen is down to 26 health. Can we just finish him off? Probably. We probably got it right now. So, Strike, Cleave, Thunderclap. Thunderclap first to put the Vulnerable on there. Then there's the Cleave. And finally, the Strike. It's not too bad. We healed up. 17 gold. Second Wind. Exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand. Gain 5 block for each card exhausted. It's not bad. It's almost an analog to... Which one? To Sever Soul. Similar? All non-attack cards, but it turns them into block. Yeah, we're going to skip on it. We don't want to get too much bloat on our deck. So here's the Campfire. Good news is we're at max health, so we don't need to rest. Let's Smith. Blacksmith, that is. Okay. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see, we're having a great time with Rage. That's actually a huge bonus to the Rage's block. From 3 to 5, that's well over a third more. So I like that. Anger would go from 6 to 8, so that's a smaller portion there. That's literally 33% improvement. So it's a smaller chunk altogether. Metallicize, little tricky to get Metallicize out and really start using it. So I'm not leaning heavily into power cards with this. Thunderclap, we looked at this before. If the Vulnerable went to 2, I would improve it. But I don't really need that extra damage, although it is a chunk of extra damage. It's well over 50% more damage. Cleave would jump up to 11. It makes Cleave pretty mighty. Clash, 14 to 18. Yeah, these are all interesting. 12 to 9 on the Headbutt. Juggernaut. We deal 7 damage to a random enemy. Again, that's cool, but it is a little tricky to get powers out. And finally, Clothesline. Oh, wow. That really makes Clothesline pretty effective. But I say we go with the Rage. We're having such a good time with Rage. It's really being quite suitable. And then, yeah, we have 289 coin in our little money bag. Let's go to the merchant. See what we can get. So, We're going to look down here real quick at the potions first. I almost never buy potions, but there are a couple of potions in the game that when you drink them, permanently increase your maximum health for the whole game. We don't see any of them down here, so we're going to skip on that. The next thing I want to look at are the relics. Pen Nib, every 10th attack you play deals double damage. That wouldn't be bad for this character. That'd be about once a combat we would get a double damage attack. And if you pay attention to the nib, it will count up 0, 1, 2, 3. And when it gets to 9, it will flash there. And so if you're paying attention to where your nib is at, and you play something like Clash for 14 damage, it could go to 28 damage. And you get some monster damage. Here's the Pantograph. At the start of a boss combat, heal 25 health. That is good. It's also very expensive. Over 100 coin more than the Pen Nib. But it's a huge amount of healing. Fortunately, we haven't struggled with healing with the Ironclad. Some of the other heroes you can play in the game have much less robust HP recovery, and I'd recommend the Pantograph being a very good option for those characters. And then, this is very simple, Lee's Waffle. Upon pickup, raise your max HP by 7 and heal all your HP. So that would push us to 87 HP. We don't need the healing immediately though, so questionable. The price is pretty reasonable. I wish we could get both of these, but altogether that's 296 coin. Or I would probably take the Nib and Lee's Waffle. So let's look over here at all the cards now that are available. Transmutation. Add X random colorless cards in your hand. They cost 0 this turn. So you could have some fun with a deck like that, but we're very focused on what we like. I like Swift Strike. Attack, deal 7 damage. And the card does say Strike. It's a strike card. Do we have are we rocking hold on. Clash, no Headbutt. We are not playing the strike deck, are we? We are not. Okay. There, if you guys recall, you can do a strike deck. That Swift Strike would play right into it. And for 0 energy, 7 damage is pretty good. That's not a bad card. We might grab that, maybe. Otherwise, Pummel, deal 2 damage 4 times, exhaust, Perfected Strike. Oh. That might be worth grabbing, along with Swift Strike, and go towards that strike deck. We have Flex. Flex is a nice card, but the 2 strength you gain, you lose each turn. So it's really just kind of, you're drawing 5 cards a turn, you're hoping to get Strike. You can play it for 0 energy. It's going to magnify the other attacks you have. Improved, it's pretty good, because it'll jump up to +4 strength. We have Armament, gain 5 block, upgrade a card in your hand for the rest of the combat. It's not bad. And Feel No Pain, whenever a card is exhausted, gain 3 block. So there's some good options. Let's just take a look at our strikes. The 5 strikes across the top. That's it. We've only got 5 strike cards. I don't know if I want to try and push this deck towards a strike deck right now. It's hard to say. So the question really is, do we take the Pen Nib or Lee's Waffle? I almost think the Pen Nib is going to help us deal more damage faster. Let's take it. Let's take Swift Strike, and let's take Perfected Strike. It's on sale for 25 gold, and it's a good card. So we're going to be sitting at 6 strike cards besides the Perfected Strike itself. So that'll be 12 extra damage plus the 6. It'll be an 18 damage card. If we were to ever get that played while that nib was ready, we could do 36 points of damage with it. Yeah, that's not bad. That's most of our coin. We'll continue on. And here is an unknown room. Oh boy. So, you encounter a group of bandits wearing large red masks. Hello, pay up to pass. A reasonable fee of all your gold will do. So, there's 3 of them. They are tough. We could beat them, maybe. They would beat the heck out of us. We'll take a lot of damage. It's hard to stop all the damage incoming. And here's the trick. We already spent most all of our gold. Now, if we came in here with 280 gold, before we went to the merchant, I would be like, oh my gosh, we've been working so hard for that coin. But I would be willing to trade 40 gold for no fight. So there you go. Thanks for the gold. Oh, I love gold. It's so nice. Shiny, shiny chits they are. So yeah, they get our money and we walk on. This guy, hey bear. Hey, this guy gave us all his gold. What a sucker, right? Get this. I just had to ask nicely. Who knew? I certainly didn't. What a chump. And we'll continue. Gang, let's all have a laugh at this wonderful occasion. And they laugh at us. Haha, ho ho ho. And we'll leave. So, yeah. For 40 coin, I'm not too sweating it. So, I can see we have 2 chest options. No big deal. Going this way would lead to a merchant. We know we're completely flat broke. So, we're not going to go that way. Let's head this way. We'll hit the elite. And then from there, we can decide if we need a rest or not after the elite fight. Choose the middle chest. This is a small chest. 24 gold, and we get the Maw Bank. Whenever you climb a floor, meaning the next level on the map, those are floors. You gain 12 gold. No longer works when you spend any gold at a shop. All right, so we're going to take it, and what that means is that as we progress through, we're not going to spend any money at this shop. We're going to bypass it. We can go through it as long as we don't enter it and spend coin. We can visit the shop, but we're going to save our money for the 3rd stage because we're going to run out of shops here. But yeah, let's do this elite fight. Let's win. This is the Book of Stabbing. Very powerful creature. The painful stabs. Whenever you receive attack damage from this enemy, add a wound to your discard pile, which is down there, that way. Discard. I can just show you with the mouse. That's the discard. It's way easier than using my finger because I can't point everywhere on the screen. So 6 times 2 damage coming in. 6 damage twice, I should say. So if there was a way to weaken this guy, it would be nice because the Torii would take care of the rest. But I don't see a weakening option. It's okay. Let's get our defend out there. And at this point, Clash, sure, for 0. And then I think Whirlwind will do the rest effectively. As much damage as we'd get from anything else, and we will end the turn. Now, we could use the Smoke Bomb, because this isn't a boss. We could get away from this guy if we wanted to, away from the Book of Stabbing. But we won't earn any treasure if we do that. We want to get the relic from this elite fight. You'll also notice the Book of Stabbing is in fact an open book with the spectral. You see how it's sort of translucent, the chains? You can see through it. It's a spectral stabbing arm, so it's kind of cool. Now, this guy's going to hit us for even more damage this time. Again, we really need to weaken this, and the Torii will take care of the rest. Now, we have our block popped up. That's nice, but I would still love to get the weakness. Let's do the clothesline. Very specifically going after that because it's going to make us take no damage this turn, and next turn it'll help mitigate a huge amount of the damage as it works with the Torii. Remember, whenever we would receive 5 or less unblocked damage, it reduces it to 1. Super helpful. What else can we do here? Well, we can get the Sever Soul out there for 16. It would be a big hit. I'm going to take the Metallicize, though. We might as well get that out there right now, and we'll just hit with the regular strike. We'll end the turn. We won't take any damage. And weakness will carry over for 1 more turn there. Here's a big 15 coming in. That's tough because we're not getting as much benefit because it went to, instead of a bunch of little hits, to 1 large hit. That sucks. Here's our Inflame. Juggernaut's not going to help us right now. We're not going to be able to get any damage mitigation out. That sucks. But let's get Vulnerable on this guy because both... crud. I can't get Clash out. That's a bummer. We'll get Anger out. And yeah, Clash, you notice, does not have the blue border. So we'll end the turn. We get a little bit of armor, and we have a big hit coming in. We're going to feel that. This guy is quite dangerous. And I mean, it has 164 health to start with. It's like a boss by itself, pretty much. It's a very dangerous elite. But let's get Rage out there. Awesome. And then here's Perfected Strike. coming in at 23 damage. And with vulnerable, it's going to pop it up to 34. And I'm just watching, I'm just looking here because I'm sitting there trying to figure out if we could get to the 10th attack. We're on 6. But even if we played, our strike would take us to 7, 8. We can't get it all out. Let's get our defense out there, though, because we know we have big damage coming in. Let's hit with that perfected strike. And there's 13 more strike damage. Wow. I almost wonder if I had played this better if we could have mitigated out a lot more damage. Probably. There's probably some stuff I could have done. But we'll stop most of the incoming, so not too bad. But yeah, this guy's roughing us up. And you can see his attack apparently just continues to climb ceaselessly, as far as I can tell. So, what do we got going on here? Let's get the Thunderclap out. Boom. Get the Swift Strike out for 30 damage. Oh, there you go. Do you see the nib is pulsing at 9? This will be the 10th attack. If you read nib, every 10th attack, this is the 10th attack. There you go. 30 points of damage. Or you could do Headbutt for 36. Boom. Game over. So, it is what it is. 29 gold. And the Magic Flower healing is 50% more effective during combat. This is huge. This is one of the best items any character can have, but the Ironclad in particular. And then armaments, we're going to skip on that. Now, I think we already healed. Our Burning Blood heals us for 6, but now it'll heal us for 9 when combats are over because of the Magic Flower. So it makes us much more robust. All right, let's continue on our climb. Let's go to the campfire because I want to smith. And you can see our little maw, by the way. Our maw bank is flashing every time we gain a level, and we're gaining the free 12 gold. But let's scroll down here. What can we get out of Swift Strike? 10 damage. That's not bad. Perfected Strike deals 3 additional damage for all your cards containing strike. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to improve that strike right now. And we'll pick up any strike cards we gain access to. We have a few options. We could hit this campfire over here. Or we could come this way and hit an unknown room, maybe another elite fight. I'm kind of leaning towards trying to get into the elite fights, personally, because we're well suited to win most of them. Interesting. Pleading Vagrant. While sneaking past a group of shrouded figures, one of them approaches you. Got anything for me, friend, please? Maybe some coin? I just need somewhere to stay. I have treasure I can trade. He seems delusional, but harmless. So we can offer 85 gold and get whatever relic he has. Rob him. We could obtain the relic but become cursed with shame. Or we can leave. Well, we just happen to have 85 gold, and we know that we don't want to spend gold at a merchant right now because it will turn off our maw bank. It's free gold. But this doesn't count. This ain't a merchant. So we will buy it. Our maw bank's fine. And we got the Darkstone Periapt. Whenever you obtain a curse, increase your max HP by 6. Okay. Leave. And we could go for another no, let's go for the elite. Let's take the elites just right on the chin. Right there. Okay. This is a tough fight. Look what we're up against here. Fat gremlins, sneaky gremlins, and the gremlin leader. Now, I'm going to point out that the little gremlins are minions. The little ghost face there, ghost skull. Minions abandon combat without their leader. That means that if we were to kill the gremlin leader, even without killing these guys, they would run. We'd win the fight. So, ooh, is there anything that would hit everyone? Yeah. Cleave would hit everyone. So let's start with Cleave. We'll rip through there pretty well. I would like to get Metallicize out. And then let's use these just to kill off these little weenie guys here. There's a strike there and a headbutt there. And we'll pull back Cleave. This guy is going to do all manner of buffs, occasionally attack, and summon more gremlins. So that's why I want to have Cleave back. All right. I'm going to pause real quick because I have the worst dry cough coming on, so bear with me here. All right, I'm back. Whew, I've been talking for like 40 minutes straight, so It was really building up in my throat there. Okay, so options. Yeah, Thunderclap. Let's get vulnerable on this guy. You can see he is strengthening himself. He's buffing himself up. But we'll start with Thunderclap. Let's throw out some Anger, and that duplicates it. Let's throw out some Strength. Want to hit while that vulnerable is hot. And finally, we will Cleave, even though there's no one else there. And there's your defense card. We didn't even need to play it, but it was a good round for us. Defense is quite high. Here come 2 more gremlins. The Mad Gremlin and the Gremlin Wizard. Now look at this. Mad Gremlin is angry. Upon receiving attack damage, gains 1 strength. So you want to kill this little son of a gun off pretty quick. This guy is going to start storing up to cast a big like fireball spell. It'll hit us really hard, but it takes a couple turns. And finally, this guy's going to try and attack us for 9 damage 3 times. So they're coming for us. Let's get Inflame out there. And we will be able to get Clash out because these are all attacks. But we don't have the ability to hit anyone all the times. But we know we want to use Clothesline to get weakness to bring down some of this damage, right? We can't stop it per se. But there, we shaved off from 27 to 18. So we shaved off 9 points of damage this turn. That's not bad. Okay. Can we kill one of these little dudes outright? Yeah, there's a 1-shot right there to mitigate that. Or do we just focus in on the leader and try and take him down? Let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. Swift Strike. Oh, god dang it. I didn't pay attention to the nib. Did you guys see that? That's a mistake. I could have gotten more damage out of that. So we're going to eat the 4 points of damage here. Although we probably could have killed both these guys, but we would have left him intact. So we're going to take a truckload of damage. But next turn, all we got to do is do the final 28 damage to this guy. And it'll actually be down to 25 because of the Mercury Hourglass. And we will win. So we're going to end the turn. We get a little bit of armor from Metallicize. I wish we could have gotten his hits down to 5. Because the Tory would have turned them all down way, way low. And I think, is that it? Is that it? Do we got this fight? Yeah. Here we go. We win, so no big deal. 33 gold. Winged Boots. You may ignore paths when choosing the next room to travel to 3 times. We can now deviate from the trails. We always have to move up on the map. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. And Sword Boomerang. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. No. Too random. I don't want anything that random. Now, you notice how these skulls are both pulsing? Our Winged Boots would allow us to travel to either path. But since they're functionally the same, we're not going to burn those yet. We're just going to move straight up. As long as we don't fly, we don't use any of the 3 charges on the Winged Boots. We can save that for next episode. But we're closing in here. Let's do this little weenie fight. Damn. Okay, not so weenie. You know what? This is a tough fight. An individual cultist would be no problem. But we have to deal functionally 150 damage while these guys are... They're going to do the feather ritual. So, say on the first turn we can kill one. Well, I'm looking at Whirlwind here. Thunderclap. We can make them vulnerable. 3 points of damage. I'm just wondering if we should use the Smoke Bomb and escape. Or do we want to try and take him out? You know what? We'll try and take him out. We'll try and take him. Here we go. It's fine. So, vulnerable to everyone with a little damage. Cool. And then Whirlwind. Yeah. And then we'll Swift Strike. Boom. Okay. Yeah. We could have used the Smoke Bomb and just walked away. Because they don't really have anything we want. Right? It's not an elite fight. They're not going to give us a relic. Our Cleat just kicked in. So we can easily mitigate the little bit of damage they have. But yeah, let's just punch him in the head to death. It's going to punch him in the face to death. There we go. Oh, and you see the 9. The 9 just popped up right here off of our Burning Blood. So in a sense, that was a benefit of going through the fight and winning, is that the Burning Blood did heal us at the end of combat. Had we used the Smoke Bomb, the combat wouldn't have ended and we wouldn't have gotten the 9 health. 6 from the Burning Blood with an extra 3 because of the Magic Flower's healing capabilities. But it's 20 more gold. Cool. Here's Liquid Bronze. Gain 3 thorns. Whenever receiving attack damage, deal damage back. Yeah, it's like a thorn shield kind of thing. So we'll use that in the boss fight maybe and add a card to our deck. Fire Breathing. It's a power. Whenever you draw a status or curse card, deal 6 damage to all enemies. It's an interesting card. I'm trying to think of how many status. We have no curses. Status cards would come from enemies putting them on us. Now, in particular, as we fight the champ here, that's not going to come in at all. But I do like the fact that it deals 6 damage to all enemies. It's actually unusually powerful. Let's grab it. We didn't need that, but you know, we're essentially closing in on 2/3 of the way through this match. So we're going to go to the campfire now. Now remember, if we'd gotten the pantograph item from the merchant a ways ago, when we went to the boss fight, we'd heal for 25 health. That's not an option though, but we do want to be as healthy as we can get. So right now we can heal for 24. That'll max us out. That's what we're going to do. No sense in going into a boss fight underpowered. I would have liked to have smithed the card, but we didn't need to do that. So here we go. Here's the boss. Here is the champ. The champ is fascinating. Massive amount of hit points. 420 to be specific. Nice. And you notice the little crown up top? You see how this crown is very similar in the number of points to the busted crown. 4 peaks on the front with 3 shadowy peaks in the back. That's the exact same crown, except this version of it's busted. I wonder who busted it. I think we're going to bust this guy's crown right now. So the champ is planning on doing some putting block on itself and using a buff on himself. Okay, cool. So let's start off right off the bat here. Let's get our liquid bronze out. There's no sense in sitting on it. We're going to use it. And there you go, thorns. When attacked, deal 3 damage back. Better than nothing. Like now's the time to use it. And I think we want to get our powers out now. Whenever you gain block, deal 5 damage. Awesome. Do you think the I wonder if any of the other abilities we have, like Metallicize, would give us 3 block. I wonder when it triggers and gives us 3 block at the end of our turn, if Juggernaut would then deal 5 damage automatically to the champ. Let's pay attention and see if we can make that happen. See if that synergy actually works that way. When it says when you gain block, it sounds like it should work. We'll see. Okay. Otherwise, I would like to see vulnerable on the champ right now. I know it's expensive, but we're not really going to get to benefit from it this round because we have no attacks left. But next round, it may benefit us quite a bit. We're going to go into our next session, the final, the Beyond, the final 3rd map to climb the tower successfully on our first run through. In good shape, especially because we will be sitting on top of the winged boots. Okay? I got to pause to sneeze. All right. Ooh, that was a massive sneeze. I am essentially just have a cold right now. It sucks. Okay. Here we are, round 2. Now, our cleat kicked off, giving us 14 block. That's not bad. That more or less takes care of everything he's got coming in at us. So, good. Now, I'm looking at our nib. We're at 8. So, if we were to slam Clash onto him, it would push us to 9, and then we could drop a monster Perfected Strike. I like that. I'm questioning, though, what if we did the Clash, and then we spent our final 3 energy on Whirlwind? It's an attack card. Would it be 8/8, 8/8, 8/8 for the 3 Whirlwind attacks? Or would it just be like a 16, an 8, and an 8? I don't know. I want to find out, possibly, but I honestly think Perfected Strike would deal more damage even if Whirlwind doubled all 3. If you just look at the numbers. Essentially 6 times 8 is 48, whereas 2 times 27 is 54. So Perfected Strike's the better attack no matter what, and it's less mana. 2 versus the 3. So let's get Rage out there because it's free. Rage is always free. And whenever we play attack, we'll gain block. Will the Juggernaut cause this guy to take 5 extra damage when we gain block? Let's watch with Clash. Let's see what happens. You ready? So we're looking for the 5 to pop up. And remember, he's vulnerable as well. So we're going to hit him real hard right now. Oh, dang it. Non-attack card in our hand. That's fine. Metallicize. We want to get that power out anyway. And we also want to see if the Metallicize interacts with the Juggernaut. So we're still set up perfectly. Here comes the Clash. So we're going to look for the 5 to float up when Rage gives us block. Yes. Did you see that? The Rage kicked off, giving us additional block, and the 5 floated up. Synergies, synergies. Okay, here we go. Perfected Strike for 54 damage. No, son. 81 damage. And plus the 5 additional. 5. That's so much fun. Oh, and we can still do a whirlwind attack? Yeah, let's do it, because not only will we hit him again, we'll gain more block, and it'll get hit for 5 more points of damage. Boom, there's the 5, and we got up to 29 block. Now, the last thing we want to keep our eyes on here is when we end our turn, our Metallicize will give us 3 more block. Will we get 5 more damage over here? Let's just watch for 5 floating up. Here we go. Yes, 5 more. So Metallicize is synergizing with Juggernaut. This is pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Now, it's not to say that the champ doesn't have some massive attacks coming, because he does. His massive attack's the name of the game with this guy. So we have our defense card. That's good. We'll want to play it because we'll deal damage every time we... So we play defense because he's got 12 coming in anyway. We dealt 3 damage to him that time. I just... 3... Maybe some Metallicize took some of that off, possibly. Okay. What else do we got? Thunderclap. Let's get the vulnerable on him. And now we want to maximize and hit with as much as we can. Well, we happen to have 2 free cards and the Sever Soul. So these will hit nicely at a big 50% bonus. Here comes Swift Strike. And here comes Sever Soul for a massive 24 points of damage. Not massive, but pretty big. And we'll have to end the turn, but we'll Metallicize up to 8 and hit him for 5 more with Juggernaut. So we'll mitigate most of the damage coming in. Oh, he's taking 3 from the Thorns. That's where the 3 was popping up. Vulnerable did wear off. It happens. I like Clothesline. I'd like to get weak on him for sure. And I'd like to get Fire Breathing out. Let's see. Whenever you draw a status or a curse card... No. Fire Breathing is not going to help us in this combat. He's not generating status cards. So we are not going to get that power out. We just don't need it. Let it go. But let's Clothesline first. Not that he's attacking us this turn, but it'll help mitigate damage next turn. He's strategizing right now. And then, yeah, let's get some hits off. 6, and... Oh, out of energy. That's fine. We didn't need any block, per se, because he wasn't going to hit us. But our Metallicize kicked off to hit him some more. Have a free shot, weakling. He's mocking us because he's so tough. He's the champ. Yeah, we're going to make this happen. Listen, there's our Clash. We got to get defense out to make Clash work, but we have Inflame. Yeah, Inflame. That's what I like to say. Here we go. There's our block. We deal some damage. Very cool. And then, yeah, there's a Clash. Oh, Pendib just kicked. I wasn't paying attention, dang it. Pendib and Strike. Probably we should have done Clash with the Pendib, but it is what it is. Down to 162 health. This guy's tough. We're a little ways from this being over. But so far, we've stayed pretty healthy. You've done it now. Die. So he just gave himself 3 strength. So his attacks are coming in Reaper style now. Extremely powerful. That is sad and unsettling for us. What can we do? Can we weaken him? No. We have no weakness. That's tough. That's really tough. Let's get the bash out to get vulnerable on him. I'm willing to play Fire Breathing to get Clash out. And while he's weak, we're going to cleave. And we're going to Clash. And we're going to have to end the turn. And we're going to take a monster amount of damage coming in. We'll get a little Metallicize. He's going to hit us twice. He's going to take 6 points of damage from the thorns. But we can't take many more hits like that. So this is getting down to it right here. This is pretty sweet. That's a lot of damage. And remember, our vulnerable, he lasted for 2 turns. Prove vulnerable is pretty nice. So let's just start. And actually, let's count them out. We're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 5 attacks we make this turn are not going to trigger the nib. But we'll be right to that point with the nib. So, yeah. No other real special abilities here. Swift Strike, and I'm just moving through these. We're not going to quite get him down. But we've got him very close. The Pen Nib is in fact ready to trigger. And he's going to nearly kill us. But we'll get a little bit of Metallicize. He hits us, bringing us down to 4 health. But this is it. We should have him right now with the Whirlwind attack. Well, we wanted to answer the question, will Nib... Nib is doubling that to 22, but will it be 22 for all 4 cycles of it? Now, we won't see them all, because as soon as he dies, it'll stop doing Whirlwind attacks. But let's watch if the second one comes through. Is it 11? That'll be the killing blow. Or is it 22? Let's watch carefully. 2022. So... playing the Whirlwind on the Nib's 10th attack will double the damage on all of those. That's impressive. At 4 mana, we're looking at potentially 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, you know, 22. The first one was a 20 because he had 2 block. So it dropped it to a 20, but the second one hit for a full 22 and finished him off. But that would have gone another 22 and another 22. So we need to lock that in as a potential massive damage dealer, especially if we're fighting a whole army of enemies. But that's it. We beat the city stage. So we're going to take our 98 gold, and we're going to choose a card if we want. We only have one. Gain 30 block exhaust. I'm going to decline on that. It's not a bad card, but it's just not something we need per se. The fact that it exhausts means we would only be able to use it once per combat. Yeah. Gosh, it's super efficient. Is it better to have it in there? Because, I mean, 30 block would mitigate almost any normal attack coming in. Will you have it in your hand when at the moment you need it? I'll tell you, one of the problems is that if it's in our hand and we have something like Clash, we won't be able to use Clash because it'll interfere. It's an expensive skill to unload when we don't want it. So I am going to skip it. And yeah, that's it. We'll skip the card and our treasure chest comes up. There you go. Let's open the chest up and let's look at our relics, and then we'll call it at about a 1 hour show. Velvet Choker. Gain energy at the start of your turn. So this would take us from 4 energy to 5 every round of combat. It's pretty sweet. You cannot play more than 6 cards per turn, though. Interesting. Well, we only ever really have 5 cards in our hand, so I don't think that's a problem for this build. Some characters might be able to get 7, 9, 12 cards out in a single turn. But our Ironclad doesn't work that way. We get our cards, we play through them all with the energy we have, and we're pretty much using them all up. This just get us 1 more energy, so we could maybe get some more expensive energy cost cards. I like that. Philosopher's Stone. Gain energy at the start of your turn. All enemies start combat with 1 strength. It's not horrible, but it just means every hit we take from every enemy ever for the final run is going to be 1 damage higher. Probably not worth it. And then finally, the Tiny House. Upon pickup, obtain 1 potion, gain 50 gold, raise your max HP by 5, obtain 1 card, upgrade 1 random card. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think that's what we want. The Velvet Choker. Because, yeah, as of right now, we have no mechanism in our deck that lets us get to more than 5 cards a turn. So the 6 card limit doesn't hurt us. We're going to take it. And that's it, folks. I appreciate you putting up with my sick self. Hopefully next weekend I will be feeling properly healthy. We'll see. But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.